my phone lines is going to remain open. Where is my phone? Where is the device? For those who have been following my channel, following the information, who want to take part in this. Shout out to Jamil and Taj. First thing in the morning in my Cash App. First thing in the morning. Blessings to y'all. Blessings to y'all. Because you know, one flag don't stop no show. What up, Tim Pittman is in the building. Hit that like button on your way in. Better get it in now so I'll get to know you. Don't get to pressing one later on. Just let me know you in class. You at least on coffee. At least you're gonna smoke a blunt with me so we can get our knowledge game up. At least, at the very least, you might as well get it now. Might as well. We're talking about the Great White Fleet. That's what we left off on. The Great Invasion, the theater of war. How, in your mind, that contributed to what we've been teaching here. How has this been neglected in history according to the timelines we were given? According to the timelines we was taught at every school level, at every public school by the Rockefeller Foundation or whatever book that was and who founded it and funded it. We all learned about the stupid universe and the Big Bang. And one thing we all learned is black people were slaves and came from Africa. Besides that, it was just American Indians, beaver catchers, and cowboys, and early Italians and Polish people who settled in the early 1492, where they exchanged turkeys. That's what we was told. Good morning to you, KG. Good to see you out there. And I know that's kind of like the simple form, the urban simple form, but it is what it is. Karen Devine, good to see you. So, going back and realizing most, if not all, of people claiming to be under the color code of law by the term white are all foreigners to America, and somehow has convinced us that in our brains, because not in real life, you don't even got a passport, but in your brain that you somehow a foreigner as well by way of the African American slave trade. But now we learning, are we gathering knowledge enough to understand that this slave trade did not go down, and it was actually an exodus. The slave trade more than likely didn't go down the way it was sold to us. It actually happened in reverse by way of the exodus that happened here in early America by the colonial society. Shout out to Taj for that information. By the colonial society. It's like you've been whitewashed in history. You've just been whitewashed, genocided, and whitewashed and paper genocided. And it's all done by way of false historical events and a false timeline of events. And of course, theater of war. We ain't never had no passport. The only time you needed a passport is when you Theodore Roosevelt got you off your own land by way of a grand parade or some old bullshit. We looking more into this fucking world fairs. Press one. That's why we were saying, what happened with all the African Americans during the World Fair time? I mean, if all of these buildings exist, where the fuck is the Indians? And where is the Negro? Then you got people on YouTube saying, well, the Negro was a slave. Not, bruh. That's how I knew y'all timelines was stacked on top of each other. When you got Dane Calloway talking about you was the Niji people with six languages, 6 words in the language. Then people over here saying you was in a TP as well, and you was in the Appalachian Mountain. Nobody up to no good. Everybody up to like living in the forest for some goddamn reason, as if there was no law already established. For some reason, there is a white blank, a men in black white blank in our brains to tell us what happened to us. Only thing we knew by way of the curly, the color purple, which is hitting the airwaves once again, is to tell us we African slaves. Press one. Once again, using black women. Once here they go again. Oh my goodness. So I just say some people they just fucked up. Ain't no get back for a lot of individuals. They replaying the same shit. And the world is going to go whichever way God permits it to go. What up, Water World? I see you. So when you're talking around this time, I began to realize, well, wait a minute. If there was this mass, forget, don't forget, just know, the federal government was only at the time allowed to work on them offshore motherfucking islands like Washington, all that federal territory at the time. So where 60 million immigrants will find their way here claiming indigenous heritage, that had me like, wait a minute. The new Leonardo DiCaprio movie from the 80s with no black people when they first got here. I don't understand what that means. Healing the power of sleep. You got to call that in. I don't do stuff like that. We don't just yell stuff out like that here. Sorry. You got to call that in. That don't make sense to me. So, understanding that they did a complete history wipe and then got us inside that 14th Amendment citizenship by way of force. That was what I was saying was your initiation and robbery, initiation into your own death trap. Ever since then, you lost your status of a free person and you went into debt bondage with the collective who was already in debt to the king and queen. So while y'all worried about Queen Charlotte was a black woman, well, so was King George. What's wrong with y'all? So was King George. That's where it's just, I see why it's a selective few that's intelligent, that want to be. You wasn't even allowed to date outside of royalty. What are y'all thinking about? You're not allowed to date outside of the bloodline. You will lose your whole estate. Press one. King George, that's his estate. King George wasn't no white man. Queen Charlotte was robbed by the federal government. This is the part they tell you Queen Charlotte was black, and look how they act. Wait till they find out King George was black too, and so was Thomas Jefferson and Madison and all these people. Wait till y'all find that shit out. Yes. Wait till y'all find that shit out. That's gonna fuck you up. Y'all worried about all this other shit. You need to be worried about what's important. Not only Queen, and wait till you find out King George was President George Washington. Wait till you find that shit out. You this close. Wait till you find that out. Then you're going to find out that they black. And then you're going to say, wait a minute. Black people enslaved us? What the fuck? You this close. You fucking this. Keep pushing that envelope. Keep pushing them. Wait a minute. Charlie was black. And all these people. But what about the king? Oh, yeah, that was King George. You know, the same King George. But you ain't got it yet. You ain't even got y'all people. Who ended up with the crown? How did she end up with the crown? Are we talking North Carolina? Are we talking North Carolina? Are we talking the Carolinas, period? Come on, talk to me, I'll talk back. Are we talking about the Carolinas though? And we not asking the right questions because we keep identifying as black. So nobody hears us. They have earphones on. They ain't listening to you. Because your enemies have convinced you to be dead in law. Law is your standing. So you're not standing on no square if you black. You just running your mouth trying to get a handout for black people when the black people is a slush fund for all foreigners. So you end up doing what Martin Luther King said he made the mistake doing, fighting for everybody else's rights but yours. Y'all don't fought for everybody else's right to rob you and live amongst you at the same time. That don't make sense. Y'all all went against Devin Haney. Y'all some haters. Y'all some self-hating, entertained haters. I'm proud of Devin Haney. Woo! Through Lomachenko, sneaky little fucking left hand, stiff left hand, and quick little butt. He stuck it through, beating with point system. Easy jabs to the chest and body, kept control. He ain't did enough. You gotta do enough to take the titles, fool. Man, you didn't do enough. You gotta do enough. Now it ain't racism. Nigga, this the perfect time to give Ukraine something. Nigga, they didn't give it to Ukraine, they gave it to a nigga, and you sitting up here hollering that it is real. Facts. Y'all niggas a boo. Nigga, that's Ukraine. They just robbed you in America by supporting this crazy shit. This Joe Biden slush fund. This Democratic slush fund. That's a damn shame. You know, y'all listen to these people. A good job. What do you say? Alawak Akbar? Alawak Akbar, bro. Alawak Akbar, bro. Whatever he said, bro. That's right, bro. That's right, bro. Fuck that one. Y'all tripping, bro. I said, damn, these people don't. Our culture the only people that will boo the brother in Ukraine. And was that the most reverse psychological fund Ukraine tomorrow morning? Here's one I have ever seen. That's all that's on the news today. You got y'all to go boo, boo. Yeah, bro. I feel Ukraine needs to be supported, bro, because Lomachenko. Everything is political. You just don't know. You've been in a time machine since motherfucking 9/11, 2001. Stupid. Prince, when you've been like this ever since. Your news has been nothing but propaganda. Granted, after George Bush and Clintons and Obamas and them all ratified these dumbass bills, they just been playing mental games on you legally. They legalized the deceit. Now you walking around talking about we being mind controlled. Nigga being mind controlled since 2001. You don't even know what to do. The whole red pill community imploded overnight. You don't even know what to do, D. Everything's fucked. The whole nigga, you been living in a dream motherfucking world. There's a whole motherfucking time. Tell the truth. 2001, your ass would knock right your ass back to sleep. Every time your ass about to get a paycheck, here, go to bed. Woohoo! Somebody else need help. Perilous state over here. International money needs to be funded over here. Just another reason. Without that mindset of a soulless beast that the Bible talk of, y'all wouldn't be, you'd be using your own resources, importing and exporting like Donald Trump said, your own imports and exports, not fucking giving tax breaks to foreign nations who want to sell their products over here, and they get more of a tax break than a regular black person. They red flag our community to give the whole communist state of China a whole fucking distribution deal. They don't let Jay Prince and Suge Knight do distribution, but they let a whole communist state. Hey, D-Jack, look. They let a whole communist state. That's the sad thing about it. Tell the truth. So it's now, and it has been the perfect time to wake up from this slumber. Ain't shit going on. You still fucked up. Only thing you're supposed to be knowing right now is who, what, where, when, and why, and how you got to this point of nothingness. Because that's all this shit is, especially black entertainment in our community. This shit is. I'm really like scared for us. Not scared, but I'm like, the fuck is y'all gonna talk about tomorrow? Ain't nothing going on in our communities but astro theology and entertainment. Hit the like button and subscribe. Astro theology, so wrap his brain, and entertainment. And imagine it always Hollywood. This is what destroyed our people. Entertainment. And you got entertainment with the 14th Amendment. Your ass been singing and dancing this whole damn time. Your ass been singing and dancing this whole time. Your ass been nullify baby to sleep with music, rock and roll. You put your trust in the devil. That's what you do, not in God. Y'all we put our trust in the deadness of life. Cause ain't no real, look at LeBron James and them. Ain't not one of these niggas, they all shut the fuck up when it came to human rights and shit. If you start talking human rights, here come the entertainers, Plies and them trying to talk about, why don't y'all go take the COVID shot and vote for Joe Biden? Why don't you vax that ass up? Everybody just walking us down into our own genocide. Press 1. And we let the entertainment companies and gurus sweep the shit under the rug by way of the nigga at the Apollo. Press 1. Next. Oh, you thought I was feeling you? You niggas is munch. Next. Press 1. What? Nigga. Pound. Booty hole brown. What? Next. Press 1. Jesus ate my butt. I want to switch. Press 1. Next. Press 1. They trying to flip. Press 1. Next. Huh? Before it's finished, here's the next one coming. The next one is here. All this shucking and jiving, bro. And we just degraded. Damn what you do, bro. But the degrading and the ideological subversion of our society is worse than I've ever seen in any culture, bro. Any culture, bro. And we in America where all the cultures meet up. Well, where all the cultures meet up. You feel me? So if everybody got a passport and you don't, what the fuck that's telling you? They don't took every now the country is down to its last leg. Mm, mm. They don't robbed America, flooded it out. You seen what's happening in Italy? That shit being destroyed. It's falling apart. The truth is, you want the truth? The whole world is falling apart. Nigga, they sinking. Press when all these imaginary lands, they don't have nowhere to go. Y'all talking about some damn melanin, nigga. Nigga, ain't no sunlight in Europe. Ain't motherfucking sunlight, bro. Sun come out there, nigga, it's still freezing cold. Cause that ain't probably ain't even real. That's probably one of them Japanese balloons. Press one. New York, oh, it's underwater. They saying the weight of it's really just destruction. Florida too. They just made that up. That's not real. You know, South America and North America ain't even really connected. It's only connected. Never mind. We're gonna talk about the Panama Canal and all the Pan Americans in the world. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Y'all know, bro. It's really only, bro. It's so. If I was y'all, I wouldn't even be panicking. I'll be really just living life at peace. Find a way to live at peace with who you are. You know, get back to the simplicities of life. Don't try to be people who are falling. All the rappers, this whole this whole social media experiment have really made us look retarded. You got damaged people who take advantage of people and try to destroy people. You got these motherfuckers out here doing whole YouTube casts on empathy. And you can look at the person and say, I don't believe it. You wouldn't believe him with no makeup on. Hold on, Taj. Hold on 1 second. Let me turn it. You wouldn't believe them if they didn't have makeup on. I go through Instagram cracking up like, look at this person. And it's gotten psychologically fucking witchery. This shit has got like a witch all over it, y'all. Females need to stop acting like we simple people. And we're going to talk more about this dumb witchery. What's up with it, Taj? You on the air? What up?
Cool and peace, guys.
What up, champ?
Hey, I just wanted to touch base real quick, man, because I came across something like this going through the time frame through that like when the Great White Fleet was like sailing around the world and everything.
Yeah,
Um,
Gulliver's Travels. Go ahead.
indeed. Well, a couple things I came across during that time frame that was going on. It was like the annexation of Hawaii happened right at the same time as the Wilmington race riots, or the coup, Wilmington coup. Pardon me, I'm mixing something up. But shortly, what? Give me 1 second, bro. All right, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Pardon me, pardon me. But they imported a bunch of the people that were over in Hawaii, and they were Asian. You know how they be like the Pan Asian, Pan American, and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But when
yeah.
they brought them, Yeah, so they brought them in, and they had these things called picture brides in San Francisco. That's kind of when I had a question. Is that like on some 14th Amendment type of stuff to get people anchored to the land, almost like, and then when they having like anchor babies and stuff like that, could that be an
Well, they
interpretation
have
to
a
them?
huge. Well, check this out. The information leads you, answers all questions. So, where was the first bank, Wells Fargo Bank, established? In Frisco,
Got you, got
San Francisco. Remember, they was taking the gold from San Francisco back to the East Coast via train and federal government.
you. Right,
They was getting the people out
right.
of there and the gold. That's what the gold rush was really about.
Got you. And they were coming in. All right, all right, all right, all right.
What
And then
what
they
what's the
had the
49ers? 1949 or 1849?
1849. Got you. All right. This is another quick question I had because it I know I'm in the right space, but when I went through, you remember they had the panic of 1893 when who was that? Was that Cleveland? When Cleveland took the gold and gave it to J.P. Morgan. I ran that up to the panic of
Wait. The
1907.
gold rush was 18 what?
No, what I was just now referring to was
No.
the panic of
The
1893.
okay,
Oh, 1849.
okay, 1849 gold rush, gold destruction. Now you talking move up to 1849. 18 what? You said with Grover Cleveland?
1893.
Move up to 1893 and now what was you saying?
It was a panic. It was the panic of 1893, and that's when J.P. Morgan they signed the gold over to J.P. Morgan, and J.P. Morgan essentially got all the gold at that point.
Has that gold ever
And then
been that gold never returned to America? But go ahead.
got you. All right, I'm trying to make the connection to the panic of 1907 because
How
how
far
can I
is
say this?
1893 and 1907? What's the
14 years. 14 years.
what the fuck is 14 years?
There's no time.
No
No
time.
time. All right. So the panic in 1907, because is that where the trust was busted? Because you also had a lot of Europeans, so-called Europeans, that were coming over during that time, and that's which they were all like a lot of the guys from Title 36. A lot of the names from there were a part of the Dillingham Commission when they were bringing in a bunch of immigrants from that part of the world, and it also coincides with the Great White Fleet and you know what I mean, their travels and everything like that. When they when they busted the all right, it seemed like that's where the trust was busted and the floodgates were open. And is that how they were able to not only, you know, just remove the title from the people at that point, bring new people in, but is that when they really when they put everything, I guess, on paper, as far as them being able to take everything? Well, they started the process of forming a central bank. Is that when it
Well,
kind of happened in your purview?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because they needed the city halls of every state, every estate. They needed all the names. That's where they was getting the names from.
Mm,
That's why all the towns was burned up back in the day. Everything was left but the vaults and the name and the banks. And get all that shit right there.
got you.
All you need is
Uh,
the names because you can use the names at all the banks. Money good everywhere. Gold, silver, all that shit. You hear me?
uh,
Who's
I got you. I got you. Hey, let me fall back only because I'm at work. If you still on, I'm gonna give you a call back.
For sure, for sure, my nigga. Who's to say? Who's to say what money you had before that? You could have had gold slits of money. They had greenbacks. Have you ever heard of goldbacks, silverbacks? Press one. Greenbacks was Abraham Lincoln, and being that he fucked you, they would say Abraham Lincoln had greenbacks, so they murdered him, and we should have greenbacks. We've been having greenbacks ever since, bro. Because it was, but who knows what your money was, being that it was backed by what? Real resources, real gold, real silver, real copper, or real nickel. Now those are just names, but the banks use to print different metals. They can mash granite and steel and call it a nickel. You'll be running around with fool's gold, thinking you buying something, but you going into debt with China, with these people. Hey, robbing you blind. You have no idea, and you worried about the most simple shit. But that's why everything is sinking. Everything is fucked up. Not just the money. Not just the money. No, your land, artificial land, artificial control. What's going to happen? Washington, D.C. sit right there, and you don't know Washington, D.C. is not a part of this place, and it fall into the ocean. Your ass going to be running around here stupid. How you know Washington wasn't way over there? That's the district of what? Columbia. Where's Columbia? Was that the name here? Did they what does that mean? If the District of Columbia, if the real Columbia was the Carolinas, and that was the banking system of press one, then we got a huge problem. And you got to ask these questions. I love asking these questions. I just want to ask questions. 424-209-9506. That's 424-209-9506. Kev, the gold back is out now. You have to use them to buy. I'm not I'm not I'm not talking about that, Joseph. Thank you, Amanda, for blocking that. Thank you. Cause you gotta call that in. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in time. Because we dealing with artificial intelligence, which is cyber heads and cybernetics and algorithm versus us. Group thinking versus a super individual. That's you and I. So you got to be able to speak. 424-209-9506. Capital of South Carolina. See, it's Columbia. See, Bocat understand. That's all I want to see is the validation right here. Because that's the Hellfighters. Remember, all this was going on. So if they defeated George Washington and they defeated the South, which is North Virginia and South Virginia and the Dixie line, that means they took Columbia. Then we going into the coup of eight. Come on, family. Does it because does the coup of 1898 make a little bit more sense? If that's where it is, then our history is nothing more than just theatrics. Hit the like button. Our history has been nothing more than just when we look back on history, it's like the man in the high castle. We just watching film. Now, from our end, let's say we lost, then we're just watching theater. It's not even real. Let's say we walk and we're just watching propaganda. Oh yeah, then America, and then they went and fought Italy. Well, Joe Biden, Japan, Italy, they all together right now talking about Russia with Ukraine. This is like Nazism all over again. And America is right with the bad people once again. I don't want to hear none of that DNS brands. I know you hear me. Y'all about to get blocked. I know you hear me. You about to get blocked. I'm not. You got to call it in. This ain't that channel over there. This is my classroom. This is where my people hang out. So if you got something to say, I reckon you call that in, DNS and whoever else is in there talking that shit. All of a sudden, y'all know everything, but when I'm talking about it, you just silent. No, don't know it in the chat room. Right here, you got to know it. You get a couple warnings, bro. You get a couple warnings, and that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. You know, I just got now. If my channel go out over there, do you think you support my channel enough to keep this thing? No. So let's stop. We not doing that. That's on that channel. This the row. See, stop the beat right there. Hold up. Let me get this microphone. Let me say this. While I wake up and put my broadcast on for my students in channel 54, this was a lot of work being able to do this. Uh, Putting all of my information up and exploring the mind and see how far we can push things and what is truth. And for you niggas to still be in my chat room playing around, and I'm calling you out in my chat room and live on the air, and this show is 2.5, 3 years old. Just let me know this ain't for you. So from DNS brands to the rest of these niggas who out here, this information ain't for you. My chat room is not for you to play. Go over there to King AK-47. Go to DJ Academics. You little niggas go over to all of these little gangbanging ass motherfucking podcasts and go over there and do that chat shit. Go over there and do that fake shit. I only got 30 students. I only got 30 students. Press one. So let's not get this fuck. I'm not sitting up here like, I don't know who my students are. I know them by their names and numbers. It ain't too many of us out here. So all the extra, I'm not doing this for clout. This is for the people who support my broadcast. So you little lame ass niggas that don't show up, I'm just want to let you know, I never needed you. Okay? I never needed you. I've been playing like, hey, nigga, stop playing. Cause I'm a nice guy. But I don't want to be nice no more. Especially to motherfuckers who take your information for granted. You get up every day and bust your ass, and these motherfuckers sit up here and play and try to wiggle room. Why not be real? Why not be a real friend? Why be a fake friend? Why be a fake supporter? Why not? Just shut your fucking mouth. Don't say nothing. I don't like them type of niggas. I don't even, that shit is annoying. Stay the fuck away from, I'm from South Central. Stay the fuck away from me with this fake love and this fake support and all this rah-rah and one shit. I don't need that. I grew up on welfare, nigga. And welfare, you know what that is? That's $200. Get y'all graduating from school asses away from me. Y'all got all this knowledge and went to school and graduated and all the sciences and want to come over here and play. No, go study your alchemy. Go study your Islamic nonsense. Go study that Christian stuff that you preach. Go study the dark arts, nigga. Go study that shit. Go study how to troll. Don't come over here studying law. Don't come over here mixing the world of confusion up in fakeness with this real shit that reaches the superior courts. The shit that I'm talking about made it all the way up to the White House. And you sitting there playing around in my chair. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. Press one. Now I'm going back to my show. Nigga, I ain't even woke up yet. You playing. I ain't even up yet. I ain't even started my day yet. Nigga clocking before breakfast. Stop playing with me, boy. I'm like no other nigga you ever met in your life.
Go be something for you and your family. Stop watching me and mine and my students grow mentally. What you here for? You ain't saying not one word. What you here for? What you here for? You ain't grew not at all. I mentioned your name 3 years ago. I'm mentioning it now. Playing around. I'm not no goddamn YouTuber. I'm a profit champion. And you have taken this whole experience, this whole motherfucking experience for granted. Disqualified. Now to the rest of my real students and the real people that's here to learn and befriend each other, I ain't even talking to y'all. Please pardon me, but Universe 25 needs some checking. Universe need a lot of these niggas. All they do is wake up to play, thinking everybody else is playing. I ain't playing. I'm not playing. I don't wake up and do this to play. The people who support this ain't playing. They don't want me to be playing with you, a non-student. I'm gonna tell you like they tell you in South Central, the essays. Hey, just get the fuck out of here, eh? Just get the fuck out of here. You're not wanted. You're not a friend. You're not a researcher. You ain't trying. What I'm gonna do with you? All this information is to rattle the bones of the dead people. And you playing, that means you a demon. That means you know this. But you choose to play, not to go to war. You choose to play. And that's what I mean. Every chance I get, I'm gonna make it known. I don't want y'all around me like that. Y'all take that play shit somewhere else. If I notice your name been in here for years and the only thing you got to do is play, I'm waiting on you to type. Trust me, I got my students with numbers. So ain't no more just pressing one to get up in here and Kev, we with you. You're not with me. When LAPD come, you ain't gonna be with me. If I go today, you're not gonna utilize none of this information. You're gonna disperse and say, I told you they was gonna kill him. Get your weak ass on. Press one. Now I told you they was gonna kill him. I told you he wasn't that. That's what they gonna say. Press one, they're gonna develop all type of YouTubes. They're gonna develop it all. I told you. And when they sit up there play, they ain't not like Royal Purple and my moderators up in here and the fellas in the background watching them. They're not like them. No. Only thing they do is wake up and want to play. And on that notion, I'm out. Y'all can have that play shit. That shit ain't never got me nothing but being a slave for a federal system and trying to figure out who the fuck I am. Now a nigga figuring out who he is and what we are. Now it's time to play. You know, that's cowardice. Sit over here in the seat with your legs crossed and your mini skirts on, playing in my chat room like a bunch of women wearing cosmetics and waving their hands like they waves matter here. That don't. Y'all go watch that gangbanging shit somewhere else. This ain't the class for you. I'm going to embarrass you. You're going to be in your feelings here because I'm going to call you out. As a supporter, you're not finna pump me up and watch me die. Nigga, I'm not none of these other niggas to pump niggas up and on the internet watch them fail just to say, I told you, you nothing piece of shit as viewers out there that are supporters of death. That's all you is, a supporter of death and ignorance. Get that shit up out of here. KevRow or nothing. And to the rest of y'all, I love y'all. Enjoy the show.
Let's not do that. That's why South Carolina is still a depressed state. What is a depressed state? What is that? When is a depressed state? No, no. It looked like a state. It looked like a mental health. You would have to break that down. You would have to break that down. You start thinking about this time like, damn. Remember we went back and we watched that movie Whitewashed, and all of these people didn't know where they was from in a very bad state of affairs. There it is. There it is. There it is. They had no idea where they was from. All these white people say, yeah, our history goes all the way back over there. but we're all immigrants. Like, nah, like all y'all are different, but y'all all claim to be white in America. That's very like to a person who knows it's his history. It's like a whole mind fuck. So you got to be mentally prepped and to be able to handle what you're looking at, because these people are coming with, oh yeah, at this time they defeated the blacks in Wilmington in 1898. They defeated the freed slave blacks. They tell history from a Alexa Wikipedia state of mind. Nothing of aha, no real experience, you know. So everybody's teaching from a, you got to teach a display. This is what it is. This is American history. This is what, but that's just from y'all. But from our state of mind, it's like we was already here, and you invaded us in the early 1900s after the taking over of the our banks. Then it was a investment in war bonds and liberty bonds and steel pennies and this one and that. The robbery just kept going on. The trauma, one thing that keep going America going is the trauma of black people and the rearranging of its currencies. That never changed. Not long as the banks are in charge of, because they're always trying to balance the budget by uh, 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 bringing more of their family members over by way of the federal government. Everybody playing dumb, but buses and loads of illegal immigration is pulling up in our communities all over. Now they both playing the game, and they both are for illegal immigration. Both of them, Democrats and Republicans, for they are illegal immigrants themselves. Title 42 make it clear. Even if your parents forgot their green card and you was born, none of that shit mean nothing. They fucked up like they did with Planned Parenthood at the federal level, at the supreme level. They fucked up because as you emerge to dowers and this being your homeland, it's putting a lot of holes in that charter they call the United States of America. Each person with a mind fires a cannon at the historic timeline of events. That's why it's important that you actually uh, take part in this mentally and verbally, so you too can see it when you watching TV. Like, wait a minute, I know this, and it doesn't hit you by surprise. It doesn't hit you by surprise, and you don't get caught up in group thinking. You know, whatever newscaster is on, you actually have a place where you can discuss these things and creating ways to fix the amendments to protect immigrants. Exactly. Exactly. And you got to understand it's all by way of stealing from you. You can't go begging to be black and then fight for black right. You have to be who you are because they're black. You fighting for some black identity is the downfall of your heritage here in America because they're all here by way of indentured workers. That's what you come over here for with a green card or a passport. One thing you know here about America at the federal level is in the in the in the words of Friday, you gotta have a job to live here. We don't. You see the difference? Nigga, if your visa run out, that's how critical that Title 40. Nigga, if your mama's and them visa ran out like 21 Savage, you gotta go. That's why all of these subgroups is mad at Donald Trump. Because that's looking like this is gonna hurt. And they have to flood these people again. Not that many people are being born. So they have to. Then you got all these nations being destroyed. Yep. What else you gonna do with them? America is going to adopt them by way of 501(c). They be doing adoption agencies. They be adopting kids. They be stealing kids and adopting them out. Press 1. How do y'all allow y'all adoption agencies to steal foreign children and them children be adopted? How do y'all how y'all gonna explain this shit? How do y'all take people kids off the street and they end up in adoption agencies all over America? How is this even possible? How is the Catholic Church adopting kids and then giving them statehood in America and calling them Native Americans? I don't know. And everybody's playing. Everybody knows this, but African Americans, shit, we don't even think about. Why? Because you doped up with every traumatic shot they give you every day, all day. If it ain't entertainment, it's trauma. Soon as you about to get a light of entertainment, trauma. The entertainment at its most craziest state right now. Then behind that, trauma. The black button. Remember the color purple? Yeah, what happened? With Oprah, they remade it again. I know. They need to stay. Yeah, they want to. They need to stay. That's why they have to raise the debt ceiling. That means more debt. They need to stay. They know. Yeah, I've never seen this in my life. You gotta stay so bad. You gotta raise the debt ceiling. The federal government is in such a state of affairs that it has to. We needed it. We needed what? We needed what? What did we need? Write and fake this, fake that via assembly bills and senator bills. The creating ways to fix the amendment protect. You got it. Royal Purple been watching the news. And then they've been attacking the trust the whole time. Got you all wrapped up in the 13th and 14th Amendment. Calling you a minority. They got foreigners that's from Africa talking about we black minorities. I used to think like, why do they call us minority? Why they call us black? I never knew that this was all legal census. And then there was a next level to knowledge and wisdom. These are all legal census. These are. Why would you need a Color Purple remake? Why would you need a Color Purple remake? Not turn whatever your name is. Why would you need that? I don't think we need no damn Color Purple remake. I don't think why would we need a Color Purple remake? That's how I be knowing a lot of y'all don't belong here. You sure don't. That's what I be saying. A lot of these people don't belong in my classroom. That's why let me see. Yeah. Why would we need a Color Purple remake? Why we gotta keep seeing false history? Why? Why? Who who in this classroom think we need another hit of uh, color purple? No, no, don't say it's sarcasm. No, 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 no. You typing it. I told. Why are you being sarcastic in my chat room? Why be sarcastic? That's why I say call it in. Could you block that person for 300 seconds, and if they ain't call it in, just block them permanent? Yeah, because ain't no reason for you to be here if you just here to be sarcastic on the chat room. You think I can see your sarcasm, or would it be better if I heard your sarcasm? If I heard it. So again, you either get a good sense of history or you have some artificial sense of time, history, uh, scripture at that, and who people are in this world. Who people are, who they gods are, where their spiritual base is. I ain't gonna lie to you. You got to be like spiritually right to even be around me at this state of affairs in my life. You got to be like a whole compliment in my life, a whole compliment to my life to even be around a nigga, because people moral basis are all over the place. They off. They moral compasses, not decision making or nothing like that. They moral complex, and like I was watching something today to say the devil will shake your hand for sure, and that's for sure. So, getting back to the topic, a lot of people, even black foreigners, are perpetrating two different Americas. There's ours, and then there's theirs, white versus black game. There's a lot of people out here talking about foundational black America. You not foundational black America that just got here on Ellis Island. That's that's foundationally black. Why y'all need reparations again? Y'all the ones fighting for white power. Y'all the black knights of white power. Y'all the black knights of white power. FBA trying to create rift like, oh, immigrant blacks are different from FBA. No, they not. FBA is foreign black. Enslaved, that's all, that's nonsense. We was robbed. See, there's levels to reparation. For you FBA, you should be allowed to be a 14th Amendment citizen. A lot of y'all, I'm not even talking to y'all. I'm just showing the difference of intelligence. A lot of these people are Germanic. Like Mike TV, little light skin. He's a German. A lot of these blacks running around, they ain't got nothing else to do. They just foreigners. What's the difference between a first generation foreigner and a third generation? Nothing. Time. However long them niggas is asleep over there. As long as them niggas is asleep, you can be whatever you want to be. Yo, Kev, you got to talk about them minstrel shows and slave movies like Roots. We talk about them all the time. We'll talk about them. But I don't know what minstrel shows you're talking about, but we talk about them all the time. Right now we talking about how foreign intelligence whitewashed black history 101, the battle of artificial intelligence. Now we talking about all that right now, to be honest with you. because again, we talking about the Victorian. I just put up on my last show, the Great White Fleet. We just put that up. Oh look. Oh look. Queen Charlotte and King George the Third's family tree explained. This is in the news. Us knowing about King George, Queen Charlotte, being that that's a black estate, that's different than a North African black or some old foreign type of. You got to ask yourself, how did they, foreigners, Romanov, Russian, the Swiss banks, how did they end up with your estate? And you got to go through the allegorical concepts of religion because it's all made up. You got to understand that those allegorical concepts is not real. That's the illusion. Right now, our people, in order to get to the truth, they gotta get past the artificial allegorical concepts of time, of God, of all that in their minds, because that's where they stuck at their discipline of fear and shit. Hit that like button and subscribe. Now that we know about the Great White Fleet, you got to understand that all of these states you claim you live under are nothing more than charters, incorporated ships, just charters. Going back to Theodore Roosevelt, the trust buster. He trust busted when they split up the nation and started naming them these states and put a highway, federal highway, and connected all these states through a highway. Fact. Because it wasn't no damn state of nothing when the Freeman was here controlling. It wasn't no state of this one, state of that one. Because it wasn't theirs. The state, and then that goes back to what? Washington. So that's the crazy shit. Washington. So your state is promoting federal rules and regulations. That's crazy, G. Because the state is operatives of the federal government. Remember, they overthrew the government. Especially going back to Wilmington. That's a good starting point. Wilmington is such a good starting point. I would, if a person was telling me, Kev, when did we officially get thrown over? And when they stole the gold, overthrew our banks. They started overthrowing all the Freeman banks and putting y'all out of commission. One by one. Black genocide, paper genocide. How could you prove it's yours when you don't have paperwork? How could you say you're you when this person is saying it's them, and then the federal government just gave them a whole estate and a plot of land right here in 1904? Whew. That's deep. That's deep. So I want to play this video, of course, to let people know I'm not playing when it comes to whitewashed and being caught up in not knowing you the only one that doesn't have a passport. You're tied to this land, even by law. Unless, like Tupac said, unless y'all, we'll never leave this place unless you choose to. You get on that Black Star Line with Marcus Garvey if you want to. They're gonna be trafficking you to the islands and off to Europe like they did like they did during the time of Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt is the man is the man the United States federal government models itself off of. They're proud of what he did. So fine, let's uncover what they've done.
I don't have any trouble admitting that I'm a racist. I think it's absurd to try to fight with that. I grew up in this society. I was conditioned by it. I think internally in my psyche, I have grounded and rooted those attitudes, and I see it in me all the time.
I don't like being a white man, and that's where I still am and working on it, because I know what I've done, what people like me have done.
Part of being white is just not in any way acknowledging what it means to be white.
I have a white skin, and that with that white skin comes along a whole mess of privileges that I have, and I don't ask for them, they just are there.
You have started to break the code of silence a little bit when you start talking about white people, when you start talking about this stuff. And you find yourself suddenly all alone.
Now let's stop it right here. Let's stop it right here. Because what's important is now we got a conception of time. How they went from this to Victorian. How you got laundry clothes all foreign? Now this is the white folks. That's all in y'all pictures. When they got here, there's a building behind them. Let's start small. There's a building back there. When your forefathers got here, not in time immemorial with Indians, when they got here, there were buildings already here. So make it make sense to me. You see how this guy's wearing clothes that don't even fit him. And to be honest, let's be real. These people look more like mannequins than any damn thing. Let's be real. Not this, of course. How they get all these suits and furs and all this, we're going to talk about that.
The family history, as I understand it, was really, people coming to America as a way of searching for a better life and escaping poverty. And it has often seemed to me that also meant escaping their roots, where they came from.
Bingo. So if you escaping your root of where you came from, you're about to lie about who you are. Press 1. That's why we're going to make a roots about you. Press 1. You about to, if you trying to escape where you come from, what's the first thing you're going to do? Create another identity? Come on, family. Let's not do this. Okay? And these aren't Mexicans. I'm sorry. These ain't Mexicans, you know this, right? You know these aren't Mexicans. Okay. Let's keep going. These aren't Mexicans.
There was sort of a desire to separate from that and to become something different.
Now, press 1, you're going to separate. Now, this man over here got good clothes. This man over here had good clothes. You see him with the good clothes? So there exists good clothes and immigration. Okay? So let's just, good clothes. The man on the end over there, he got good clothes. Immigration. He was taught. This is our business is already going on. You can go from this geek to chic in America. See? So if you got to create new roots in America, in new soil, that means you about to steal somebody's identity. You can't create a new you unless somebody stole something and some names. Like if my name was Kevin at the time, and somehow this federal government got my shit by the banking, stealing shit, and now they have to give their name over to this person way on the other side. Hell yeah. Or whatever your family name was. And they're giving your name in new roots. I mean, your shit that's tied here, they want to uproot you and plant new tree. You get what I'm saying? They want to take away the tree that's been there and put down a foreign tree that's not even of the same land. Now watch this. Where did white people come from? Come on.
I have Scotch-Irish ancestry with a little bit of German. I'm
Press 1. Now he got Scots-Irish with a little bit of German. No, you German. In the Scot-Irish, are the identities, false identities. Your ass is German, Slavic, black, refugee. You get what I'm saying? It don't feel good when you black. Well, you're black, bro. In the real world, you're black, bro.
European, and I came over 250 years ago.
How he know history more than you? I said, I'm finna raise my people up. Ain't no way this little Nazi skateboarding prick off of government assistance about to know more than you.
Means that I have Scotch-Irish ancestry with a little bit of German. I'm European, and I came over 250 years ago.
My ancestors are from England and Germany.
Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Hey, listen. Do y'all want to do this? I'm finna get a microphone and I'm finna go around asking the questions you want me to ask. White people and black people. Democrat, German. That's the basic shit. Where do white people come from?
My ancestors are German and Russian and Scottish.
All Germans. So America is Germany.
In my father's side, it was Irish, and my mother's side, it was probably English, but I don't know a lot about her side.
German.
I'm French Indian.
This guy is French Indian. I thought he said French inbred, but he's. I can't believe this right here. This is hilarious. He's French Indian. Sad. He look French to you, bro. Damn French Indian. I don't know what you're talking about German. I'm French Indian. My uncle was Wild Bill and the Cowboys. Slow down, Jimmy. Slow
I guess you'd say I got a little Cajun in me.
Ireland. So you identify as Irish?
No.
You ain't from Ireland, sir. He don't want to identify with nothing else. Nigga, I'm American. He learned this little phrase, American. He learned how to talk to Englishmen the American English way. They don't want no roots back to Italy because he's another one. You know, Irish. You Italian. Press 1. That makes you a part. They don't know. Nobody wants to say Adolf. Nobody. Nobody wants to say, yeah, man. Come on.
I identify as an American. British, Scotch-Irish. Scotch, that's where my ancestors are from.
Oh, I'm getting that. I think that all of the King's men and all of us are British for some reason. I think all of us are Irish Scot. I think all of us are Englishmen, what you would call freedom fighters and all of this. For some reason, they're so connected to this King George sovereignty family. Like I've been. Who, me? No, man, I'm Scots-Irish, bro. Yeah. On my mother's side, you just have German, have fucking Russian cards, everything. But, you know, I'm gonna talk no more.
Supposedly, but hasn't had any impact on me. Doesn't mean anything.
I think pilgrims. When I think of where did I come from?
I think her and the other guy is related. I think they're brother and sister, and they were having a date or something. They got them both of them. Oh, I think we were pilgrims. That's where I come from. No, ma'am. You had a nurse outfit on giving people the cold flu in the early 1900s with your white ass.
I think pilgrims, but no. But I'm sure somewhere down the line I am.
Because they were Irish, there was a lot of oppression, you know, because they immigrated over from Ireland. So I thought a lot about what that was like for them as Irish people, but I never thought about what it was like for them.
These are all people from different countries talking about some damn Irish.
And when they became white.
And when they became white. How did your ancestors get turned into white people?
Well, you can only be something if there's something else to negate it. So I guess we became white. I guess we're white because there's a bunch of other races to set us off. Well, you can only be something if there's something else to negate it. So I guess we became white. I guess we're white because there's a bunch of other races to set us off.
Could you imagine sitting down with God and he pulled one of your people out and say, white people, come sit with me. And then he calls this one. And he say, why, if white people, why did y'all do this? And how did you become white? This is the best answer they can come up with.
Well, you can only be something if there's something else to negate it. So I guess we became white. I guess we're white because there's a bunch of other races to set us off.
Everybody, so this nigga gave the excuse for mass extermination. Wait a minute. Why are you white? I guess because you can only become something if something else is there to negate it, and those people might have just pissed us off and we just wiped them off the face of the earth. Huh? Sheesh. Talk to him, say through imperialism.
So how
How did the German people get turned into white people in America?
Came to America.
By assimilation.
She said they came to America. I told y'all. So don't feel dumb. They know. Excuse me, little white German lady. How did your forefathers get here? I'm gonna call this series Reality Check, family. What the fuck? They just got here and they were white. So even if let's just say, I'm not saying you, even if your parents were like a Nazi, if they got to America, they was white and they just blended in. I never thought of it that way. Watch, I promise you that we're gonna get a lot of that. We're gonna get a lot of that. I'm taking you with me.
By living, by living in the U.S., it's just the smorgasbord, you know.
I have no idea.
I don't know how we became white. How did we become black? Don't feel. This is where you're learning this at. If the white people don't know how they became white when they all are German, how? So you got to know who made you black and why they don't know that who made them white in law. And then you ask them, what is your root? They're going to say German. Some things you can't make. What?
I honestly have no.
Came to America.
By assimilation, by living.
By assimilation. Did you hear that? When y'all fought for civil rights, y'all fought for them, bro. Y'all fought for the Nazis, bro. We'll get to that.
By living in the U.S., it's just the smorgasbord, you know.
Unfucking believable.
I have no idea.
She don't even know.
I honestly have no idea.
She don't even know
how they got turned into British and Scotch people, how those people got turned into white people?
No.
Have you ever thought about that?
I'm not a history buff.
I'm not a history buff, bro. And we don't even think about how we got turned. You see, this is an atomic weapon question. Press 1. This is the end all, the be all. Sir, when did you become white in America? How did Germans get classified as white people? This is the question of questions. This is the foundation of the row. Sir, with all due respect, how are you today? When did you get turned into a white person? Well, my great-grandfather fought in the war. Hold on, caller. Let me get you on the air, man. They all start at the inception, at the colonial. Oh, it's the war, family. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air. What up?
What's going on, Kev? This B from Texas. How you doing?
What up, B?
Man, I'm watching the Whitewash again with you, and the guy that came on, he said by assimilation, and it made me think back on the Wilmington coup when they said that they gave a method when they said they assimilate, they assimilate, allocate, relocate.
Come on.
And I was looking up the definition. I know what assimilation means, but just some of the words that mean the same thing. Synonyms of assimilate. You got absorb. You got compass. You got digest, decode, incorporate. That was one that really stuck out. Incorporate.
Go ahead.
You got master, take in. So all these words that mean the same thing as assimilate, we see them using we see them used in a time and memorial story. You know what I mean? So yeah, that stuck out to me.
Assimilation is big with black people. We should all know about assimilation. They just got us further back in time. The real, I would say the amending assimilation was civil rights.
Right.
The ratification of being assimilated. See, they got us wanting to be black so bad and wanting to fit in with them so bad. It's actually validating our poverty. See, because who made us black in law? Who made? When did we become black?
Really? Well, okay. The term black. You know, I think about when when you talking about Abraham Lincoln and emancipation, taking all our people out the country, and then when they come back, they have to be emancipated and put them under the 13th and
14th Amendment.
Would make them black.
So,
am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They will be indebted to the corporation as well, correct?
Correct.
And
federal now.
Because you're federal now. How much are you worth? Probably a cent. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chaplain.
All right. I was looking at that emancipation and what year that that happened. I think it was 1863, 65. I was looking at my family just to see. I went back a couple of grandfathers. Man, my one of my grandfathers was born in Louisiana in 1846, and then under the census, it had his father as a farmer, not no slave, none of that. So it was under farmer. So it's showing me that their story is basically our Disneyland. They piecing it together, and being that they the ones who taught us, you know, in school, we have that perception. But like I'm thankful for you for giving us a true timeline based on what's real, and we can really see what's going on.
Well, I thank you for still being around and listening to these. So if we became black in around this time and the Dawes Rolls officially made us black people, why they don't know when they became white people?
They know, they just don't want to admit it. It hurts. They don't want to admit it. Like the color of law, they understand really, because that's another thing. All of them kept going back to Scots Irish. How all of y'all going back to Scots Irish? Everybody, they'll mix up a little bit of, I'm a little German part, this part, but everything going back to Scots Irish. If you look at most of the American black men names, the blacks' names, it'll go back to
the Scots and to England and Ireland. Yeah, because that's all the Greater Britain territory. That's all the kingsmen and the king's women and the sovereigns and the freedmen and the people of the king, as they say. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. And I always, you know how they always say, you got your name from the slave master. That's to hide who we really are.
Yes.
We just go and believe that, then you'll just overlook.
Well, if you don't know that indentured worker, they calling them the slaves. These people were all indentured workers, all these foreigners. So if they're the indentured workers and your people are the estate owners and the estate and the people who actually own, they're like Smurfs the Gargamel are. They just indentured workers, and they're trying to have a reason on why they overthrew you. You fighting, you saying, the average black person saying they held us in slavery. That's their story.
Yeah, just like when people.
That's like a bunch of people being held at Del Taco or Taco Bell and being told to work overtime or something. This is something is not clicking. You wasn't the indentured worker. You worked, but you were also a freeman. You can operate kind of as both, Dylan, if you knew enough, huh?
You kind of like the undercover boss. You working, but you own the company.
Because
or you over the company.
Bingo.
More or less.
You the head of your estate. You the head of affairs.
And I look at them like when people talk and they say, they get the projecting, they saying stuff about another person, but they're really talking about themselves. That's how I see them when they doing that. They doing a lot of projecting.
So if they can get you to fight for black African American rights, who you really fighting for?
We fighting for them because they actually are the black African American.
Yes.
Man, that's reverse psychology.
Yes.
To the max.
Yes.
Like, dang, they got us thinking the perception that
Yes.
we black and African American when that's not even.
That ain't even your identity. You were overthrown by blacks and African American indentured workers who overthrew your system and government and enslaved you.
Yes, sir. Man,
thank you, champion.
That's
My
what I
man.
feel. I call back.
Then my man, call back anytime. Shout out to the people in my Cash App. God bless you, Teresa, for all the contributions to the show. Especially now, you know I'm on this channel, so I gotta be professional and work this a little better. And thank you for always being there as a supporter, contribution, a silent watcher, and a person who presses one every now and then and picks up. But Germany. What I'm telling you is, when we going back to when I told y'all Germany won World War II and they all became American white people, this is the ultimate. I don't know how we became. How you don't know your history? You know Babe Ruth. You know when King Tut walked the earth. You wanted one step closer to man and the giant leap for mankind. Y'all did all that. When it come to like simple shit, excuse me, when did you become white? I think it was a Pius the Third Pope of Rome, BC. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air.
What's good, Kevin? Said.
What up, Sid? Talk to me.
Man, I've been doing some studying and what it looks like, especially with how the people saying how they came over as indentured workers and all of this. It looks like the main plan was like diplomacy through humanitarian aid.
Yes.
And that's how they set up the Imperial Army. It's all imperialism.
Well, did you know you can move through humanitarian aid and don't leave logs of coming and going? I just found that out watching this show called Blacklist. Yeah, they never even got to check. Bro, they don't even got to check, bro. They brought a whole. Yeah, that's a hell of a show, Blacklist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a killer. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro. It's that's even with the Great White Fleet.
Go ahead.
It was all diplomacy. They were going into different cities and giving humanitarian aid, and when it looks like they were going into key places and just cooping them.
That's what it looked like. And when Taj put up that map, I said they were traveling and stopping at the Louisiana, all these little fairs or wherever they were stopping to deliver humanitarian aid. Because again, all that is going on, and the Spanish and American war is going on, allegedly. And we learned that the Spanish were actually burning down all the black people's shit. So it was really, what the fuck? Was they moving, what you call that shit? What's those people you pay to go to war for you? Little Minutemen and all of these little subgroups to attack and burn down. But yeah, go ahead.
This is like Merchant Marines.
Yes.
Merchant Marines. That's what it is. Merchant Marines. They were humanitarians. They went in through humanitarian aid, and they would just coup all the different places around, like coup the Ottoman Empire, and it was and all orchestrated through like Russia and France because of the border lines that France was touching two different countries, and France used himself as a middleman and helped with the coups. I saw this. Kev, I got a video I want to send you. It's a guy, like a teacher guy. He's just breaking down like World War II, and he was talking about Jews and how the African American, that's the term he used, were the real Jews, and how they were used to just finance everything. It's a good watch.
Who used to finance everything?
The British. The British.
Yes.
They were like a neutral. They were the neutral
Bingo.
humanitarians, and they financed everything. They financed their own demise. Yes, sir. Yeah, but that's all I want to give. I got to get back to work.
For sure, champion. My man. My man. So people don't even know. Yeah, shout out to, who was that? Billionaire status, a militia, mercenaries, militia, all of that to destroy California all the way up the coast. They was bringing them in, dropping them off, bringing them in, dropping them off. And then they boats, they would send those little boats to make landfall. Just keep going. Boom, boom, boom. And then what's on the side of ships? Cannon fire. You can fire at civilians all on the inside, keeping what looks like a parade of ships on the outside. It's easy to do that. It's easy to do that. Barrage them in from all angles. Then you wonder why everything was being destroyed, and all of those old pictures of cannon fire going inside of please. They were shooting them cannons from real steam ships and destroying civilian towns, like that lady said in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's like bombs was coming out the air. Dropping like, what the fuck? Bombs, all that. All that. And they was using super cannons too. They was made by Krupp, Russian cannons, because again, they were simulating warfare events at the World Fair. If you take into account the time of the Great White Fleet and the World Fairs at the time, you're going to be fucking like, what the fuck? And then they had trains doing what? Getting people out. Getting people out. All that got to be destroyed because we finna plot this out and give it to all Germans. Y'all went into camps. Our people went into camps. Facts. Y'all people went into camps. They was being chased all over America, being gunned down from Devil's Punch Bowl shit to who God knows, Valentine's Day massacres, the Zoot Suit riots. That was all orchestrated events. Facts. All of them. All of them was orchestrated, and it was only thing that happened was y'all towns was devalued and destroyed, and y'all was put on motherfucking trains, never to be seen again. You talking about hundreds of thousands, millions of people. There was a grand exodus, and people hate to admit what happened. But as long as we stay consistent, we stay with the truth, and we stay asking the right questions like, excuse me, when did you become white? We're going to have something to talk about.
Board,
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea.
Do you know how they got turned into British and Scott people? How those people got turned into white people?
No.
You ever thought about that?
I'm not a history buff.
I think culture did that over time. It's like certain words that we use in our language are not our words, or other nations, other words that come from other languages.
How did the Irish get turned into white people?
To watch people trip out, look how he thinks. He take that thought.
Other nations, other words that come from other languages.
How did the Irish get turned into white people?
Look at him. Damn.
That's a good question.
That's a good
question. A lot of it was
early
assimilation in the United States.
That is the only question you got. We're going to ask that question over 1 million times. I feel it. I feel it. If this is your inception and y'all just put y'all clothes and boots and y'all waiting for trains to get y'all to destinations, where the black people at? Where are you while they finna get on trains and move in to what the federal government just built up on? What's that about? Talk to me. What's that about? If y'all getting the children from Europe, the orphan trains, and then the people, how are these people great grandchildren talking about Mexicans? Y'all is the Mexican. You can't say the Mexican is illegal when you just came. Mike TV forefathers came with these people. Press 1. Tell me I'm lying. You're going to get a dark one in there every now and then. There he is. You see him? Press 1. You see? You see him right there? Right there. And just right of the man in the you're going to get one Frenchman in there. You're going to get one perp. We got him. Oh, my goodness. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air. What up?
Deborah from Florida.
Deborah, what's going on?
I believe I'm a white person in paperwork and many other things in paperwork, but my whiteness is definitely stolen from original landowners that had Bibles, and the babies' names were in the Bibles in Licking County, Ohio, during 1918 when, right after the Great Fleet. They came through the Great Lakes also.
They came through what?
The Great Lakes also, sir.
The Great Lakes. Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. That's how they got to Detroit, Michigan. This is all war strategy. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. They used irregulars and mercenaries. The creation of the Merchant Marines is one of those, we don't really have to register it kind of things.
Yes.
That you were speaking on. And they did not register what they did to the people. The Red Cross, came in a foreign entity and then sorted and categorized where they would put the different people. I don't know what.
So the Red Cross, to be honest with you, because we're going to go deep, the Red Cross doesn't even have to identify who's in the ship. And so if they're going to genocide you, they don't have to have you listed.
No, sir.
So there is no list of no blacks in the Red Cross at all. I know there's not, because I understand now. I understand already that they don't need a list. That's how they traffic people. But go ahead.
Yes, sir. Using the original names and making them in an algorithm where they split them up, but they're using a trust, which is royal, and they're making it UCC code and giving Cypre to themselves.
Yes.
We'll make it as near as possible because they're in a calamity, and we call them minors because they're not able to care for themselves any longer because we've stolen everything.
And legally, that's right.
and legally claim that I am Scotch-Irish with, pick a Rolodex of Indian tribes, any one of them that I would agree to, which I wouldn't. And then now I'm supposed to turn around and say, I'm white Scotch-Irish, and go get my trust open and let them play in it.
Yes.
Because they keep my mind so switching back and forth with stress, and I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that God is bringing me up from pond scum, and I will speak on the American Holocaust of the Royal Negroes in banks and stores and places that they do not want me speaking on those things. So I'm not ready yet to speak on that, but I do know that that's my goal, sir.
Well, that is also my goal as well, and thus we are brother and sister in Christ. Anything else?
Yes. No, sir. I will go to the back of the room, but Thank you for allowing me to be in your class.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for your continuous support on my Patreon. Thank you.
Everybody,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be back.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So if she can say it, so can you. Press 1. So can you. You got to be able to understand the theft is going on in your face in history. When they are telling you the history from your perspective as what I call an American POW, you're still a royal. You got to be able to use their time immemorial against them. You have to be able to use their allegorical religious concepts against them. You have to use the law against them. You got to use every attribute they've given you and God given you to fight this institution. And I don't mean physically. I mean personally. I mean, personally. Our people was all bank robbed together as one. And a lot of people never made it home. I'm asking the questions, what happened to Emmett Till's father? And we find out they sent him to war. They killed him in Italy, America. Hang him. And his son dies in America? Oh, that's Nazism. Fucking with the white women. And they got him. And I was trying to figure out why they did that to him. The same thing that happened to his son happened to the father. Y'all don't get that? The United States government murdered Emmett Till's father in Italy, France, along with many other black soldiers were murdered by France. And that's on the African side too, by France. So the United States government murdered his father. And then the same people, the same race, the same people, same damn near 23rd, whatever time it was, and it happened to him? The son for doing what? Whistling at a white woman? That's crazy because the white woman accused his father of, well, the white woman said he didn't do anything. And they hung him. So I see that we be worried about the wrong things in history and life, period. This tragedy just happened. The FBA, this is the FBA. We're going to be talking about the FBA, the fake Irish, the Germanic black, Press 1. We're going to be talking about all these things so nobody get it confused or misconstrued.
States, a lot of European ethnics coming over, assimilating for a variety of reasons. Primary one being a desire to elevate their socioeconomic status.
Man, this nigga got a whole chest on his shoulder. You know who that is? That motherfucker, the mob boss. That's Scarface from the movie. Not Scarface. No, not that one. The old one. What are you doing with a chest? Treasure lies in the chest. You know that, right?
So to get jobs, to find places to live, a lot of the Europeans altered their last names to sound more mainstream. Desire to elevate their socioeconomic status. So to get jobs, to find places to live, a lot of the Europeans altered their last names, desire to elevate their socioeconomic status. So to get jobs, to find places to live, a lot of the Europeans altered their last names to sound more mainstream. A lot of them changed the clothing that they wore, the foods they ate. So there was this, some might call it assimilation. I think of it more as Anglo-conformity, conforming to this kind of dominant white culture.
But the reality is that those persons who are white and who are considered white and treated as such in this society, by virtue of being
Look at the flags right there.
White and treated that way, have had to give up who they really were. If they were Russian American, my father's side of the family, grandfather's side, great-grandfather came here from Russia in 1910. He had to give up what it meant to be a Jew, a Russian Jew from Eastern Europe, to become an American, which really meant to become white. The Irish had to do the same thing. The Italians had to do the same thing. The Greeks had to do the same thing. All these European ethnics who were not white Anglo-Saxon Protestants had to give up their actual identities for the sake of whiteness.
Wow. You notice he said my grandfather and great-grandfather? Come on now.
I really didn't think about being white, I'd say, growing up, because mainly...
Look at this. Look at this. This is where Margaret Sanger come from.
I think because I was part of the majority and I maybe wasn't forced to think about it.
I don't think it means anything. It's just, some people might think it means better, but to me it doesn't mean anything but just the color of my skin, really.
How often do you think about being white?
Not very often. I really don't think about it a lot at all.
Hardly ever. It's just me.
Racially, do you see yourself as a white person?
No, I see myself as a person.
So do you ever think about being a white person?
No.
Probably not very often.
Not really. Sometimes I got a lot of black friends. Sometimes we make jokes about it and everything, but
not really. It doesn't matter to me whether I'm white, pink, or purple, or black. I don't care.
Depends on the social situation. Sometimes I'll be the only white person in the room when it's reversed, when the tables are sort of flipped.
How do you identify racially? Do you see yourself as a white man?
I think that everybody is equal in the eyes of the Lord.
So you don't see yourself as a white person?
Not as much as most people. I think when it's all said and done, we're equal, and definitely inside and outside.
But I don't know if I ever considered myself white or thought about it. At one point I'm sure I did, but I don't really have any recollection of when it was, which I think is a total reflection of whiteness, of never having to sort of contemplate why people treat you the way they do.
To be white means to be a member of a dominant racial group in a society that I'd consider white supremacist. And to be white in a white supremacist society, not just a racist society, because that's almost too generic.
Yes.
To be white in a white supremacist society is to be able to have the luxury of oblivion, to be oblivious to the injustices, to be oblivious to racial privilege, to be oblivious, frankly, to one's own identity. So it is, in a sense, to be invisible to oneself.
Oh.
Well, I think to be white in this culture means to deny the reality of racism. And it means to deny the privilege that we have as whites. Most people who are whites don't want to accept that they are privileged because they are.
People don't want to talk about being white because they know that at a deep level, even though they haven't even, some of them may not have ever talked about it with anybody.
That's a whole army, you guys. Listen to me. These are all standing militiamen. It's a whole army.
Ever expressed it, they do know that.
Do you hear me? You don't even see, they didn't even see this coming.
Benefit from being white.
If you're white in this country, there's certain
advantages that come your way, and it doesn't really matter whether you want to or not, or whether you're in touch with it or not.
Now I know there are privileges that I enjoy simply because I'm white.
Every minute of my life, I'm aware of my white privilege, of the fact that I have a white skin, and that with that white skin comes along a whole mess of privileges that I have, and I don't ask for them, they just are there.
There are things that come to me, that belong to me, that I'm given and that I expect just because I'm white, that I never wonder about, ask about, discuss. And that's the power of it, is that the privilege of expecting that I'm going to go
This is a white Lawrence Fishburne right here.
to good schools, and that I'm going to have choices no matter what, that there will always be a choice that will be probably pretty reasonable, that will work out pretty well for me.
To me, it's about privilege. A lot of people get to walk around thinking that we live in a meritocracy, and thinking that their own hard work is the only thing that's, responsible for their achievements. I think that it means, it has, and I think that it shapes everything.
White privilege is probably the freedom to move through the world fearlessly in a way that black people cannot move through the world. That you can take advantage of opportunities with much less fear and an assumption that you'll be treated equally with all other white people.
Part of it is not having to even think about it. And so in a way, it's sort of like the privilege of having that space in your mind free to think about other things and be concerned about other things. So it's not even having to think about race is part of the privilege.
White privilege is being able to walk into a department store and not be followed by the detective. A friend of mine who's Asian American, she was
stealing.
Very unfairly treated at a department store.
She was
She
stealing.
was at a cosmetics counter, and she had bought something and it came with a free gift. So the woman at the counter put the free gift in the bag, and my friend didn't know that the free gift had already been put in the bag, so she had grabbed the one on the counter and put it in the bag unknowingly. Just the sweetest woman, wouldn't hurt a fly.
Why do Asians always throw these silly stories in our heritage for no reason, bro? What the fuck does this got to do? Y'all over there stealing. Ooh, I remember I was a criminal. Press 1. Remember y'all was criminals coming up? If your ass is 35, 40, 45, 50, your ass still want to be a criminal. Something wrong with you. Oh my goodness.
I just and they called the cops on her, and she was taken to jail and arrested. I put myself in the same position that she was at, and I know there's no way I would have been arrested. I know I would not have been arrested.
It's the assumption that when you go to buy a car that you're going to have the money. Well, it's the assumption that when you go into a real estate office looking for a place to rent, unless you wear raggedy clothes, it's that you're going to want to go into this nice neighborhood.
You basically get to say what you want to, be any way you want to. You get privilege. You don't have to work as hard. You can slack off in jobs and still get promoted and still not have to worry about somebody coming after you. So whiteness to me is about
every nigga at work just was like, this nigga telling the truth.
So you're gonna want to go
Watch him.
Nice neighborhood.
Watch his story.
You basically get to say what you want to, be any way you want to. You get privilege. You don't have to work as hard. You can slack off and jobs and still get promoted and still not have to worry about somebody coming after you. So whiteness to me is about privilege and access to information systems and people. And
This white man, this is the motherfucking white man. Nobody he accepted. You get, oh, being white to me? Oh, shit, nigga, I've been slacking off my whole life. And I still eat good potatoes. Press 1. Damn, bruh. Look how positive he is and accepting he is of knowing his white supremacy, his white privilege card.
you basically get to say what you want to.
It's like
be
you can
anywhere
ask
want to,
him,
be
sir, how did the white card benefit you
And no, I would
in
not have
life?
been arrested.
You know, it's the assumption that when you go to buy a car that you're going to have the money. Well, it's the assumption that when you go into a real estate office looking for a place to rent, unless you wear raggedy clothes, you know, it's that you're going to want to go into this nice neighborhood.
Now, sir, how about you? What are the benefits of your white privilege card?
You basically get to say what you want to, be anywhere you want to. You get privilege. You don't have to work as hard. You can slack off in jobs and still get promoted and still not have to worry about somebody coming after you. So whiteness to me is about privilege and access to information systems and people and power that you didn't earn.
I went through a time where I was poor and I had to take care of my father, and I worked with about 100 African American men, and I was the only white male on the shop floor, and I was really horrible at this job. It was a metal grinder. I'd grind too much of it. I'd make big indentations. I was constantly messing up, and I was sure I was going to get fired. It was just a matter of time.
What happened?
About 6 months into the job, the boss and a few of the managers come over. They're all white men, and I thought, this is it. This is the day I'm getting fired. And they came over and told me that they've had their eye on me and they think that I'm management material. I said, what? Yeah. And they said, yeah, you stick around for a while and we think you've got potential to be a manager here.
It's all embedded in every piece of our country. It's embedded in every structure that we have. It's embedded in our economics. It's embedded everywhere.
When I walk into a bank, or when I walk into anybody's neighborhood, or when I walk into anybody's store, that I'm acceptable, that I can go anywhere I want, and I am seen as an acceptable person. And the reason I am acceptable is because I'm white.
I remember when I was going to get my driver's license renewed for the first time. I really couldn't see very much without glasses. I didn't have any glasses with me. They had you go to one of these machines you look in and see like what letter it is and etc. I couldn't see any of it. I was one of the few white people there, and the guy behind the desk was this older white guy, and he just said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Go ahead." I was like, "Is he just letting everybody through?" And I saw that he wasn't, and I kind of was like, "Oh, okay."
It's the ability to walk into the bank in Savannah when we were ready to build our house and borrow $100,000, and neither one of us were working.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Damn, Pookie and Ray Ray. Nigga ain't even have a job. White privilege is to be able to walk inside of a bank with Outback shoes and sandals on, not have no job, and get $100,000 loan because of the pre-approved credit that comes with my whiteness. Amen. Lord, that make you respect a woman with good credit now. Press 1. Matter of fact, if you ain't got good credit, don't even talk to me. Press 1. Your credit got to be fair and above to even holler at Kev. This some white privilege in here, man. Sheesh. How much? Damn. Y'all shit is below average.
I mean, that to me, that is just so incredible. That
She said that is to me too. Lord, could you imagine Shaquanda and them with a good business loan? Could you imagine everybody in the project with a house loan? Shaquita and them moving right next to you. They'll say, I don't want these non-working people working right next to me. They're going to destroy my community. Nigga, you didn't have no job when you got that house neither.
That we could do that. I mean, of course we had to present, we had to give them facts and figures and all that kind of thing. But, if you were a person of color and you walked in and you said, well, we're neither working and they're going to loan you $100,000, I don't think so.
Oh, simple things. I mean, from everything from the ease of getting a bank loan to knowing that I can drive just about anywhere in this city and not get stopped because of my color by the police.
When I drive down the road and I get pulled over by a police officer, it's probably because either I've broken the law or I'm getting a flat tire and the police officer's going to tell me I'm getting a flat tire.
Well, when I get pulled over, I don't get tickets, I'm a white woman, middle class, in a minivan. I get pulled over all the time for speeding. And it's almost become a joke. And then, the police officers apologized to me for pulling me over, and I know if I was a person of color, that wouldn't happen, I know that I would be pulled over a lot more if I was a person of color because I speed every day. And so I get stopped, they look at my license, and then they let me go,
I've experienced whiteness on the 3 occasions that I've been pulled over by law enforcement driving a car. One time I ran a red light. Turning red, right? Another time I was speeding, another time I had a headlight out. And every single time I got off with a warning. I never got a ticket for any of those things. It was privilege and whiteness, therefore, that helped get me off. And I think for the average person, it would be whiteness that would allow me not to even have to think about why. I could get away in thinking, oh, I sweet-talked my way out of that. I did, but I was aided by the fact that I'm white.
They're not going to do a body check on me. They're not going to rip my car apart looking for a reason to haul me in. I'm not profiled. That's white privilege.